My intention, when I got invited to talk to this, was to talk just about what I learnt about my school from being on the telly and why I thought that lots of people should. We should see behind the doors. As a head, I'm very aware that my impact on situations changes what happens. So it was fantastic to be able to see my school through other people's eyes. But then something happened. Sir Michael Wilshaw decided to go to one of the biggest conferences in the country, and he decided to wrap up his tenure as Her Majesty's Chief Inspector of Schools, the head of Ofsted, and talk about some of the big issues that we've got in education at the moment as a head teacher. So recruitment being a really big issue for me. But he decided to tell the assembled group of head teachers that if a TV company asks you to do a TV reality show, as he called it, say no, because it was putting people off. So that changed what I was going to talk about. I decided instead of just talking about my school and the staff and the students there, that actually I'd do a little bit more, and I'd take some clips from just a couple of episodes from Educating Essex, just to maybe prove him wrong. So that's what we're going to do.
It was Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank, and all that Saturday, won't see another one.
I love my job, and every day is different. I love the interaction with the kids. I love the fact that you can see them making progress. There's nothing to match it, nothing to touch it.
Dreamed about you.
Now, I don't know what you saw when you saw Mr. Drew, because that was episode 1. Next slide, please. I'm trying to click it, but nothing's happening. How many times does any of us, and Mr. Drew did it perfectly there, how many times does anybody who works 12, 14-hour days, which is fairly standard in our profession, say they truly love their job? How many people work that amount of time and go, it's a privilege, my job, I love my job? Not many people do. And I was quite surprised when that first episode came out, because I was worried, because I'd seen the rushes before, and it was very much about Mr. Drew. Mr. Drew was very much the star of the show. He was my deputy for those that didn't watch the show. He's now moved on to headship. And apart from the young people, it was definitely about him. And when I see Mr. Drew, I see a slightly serious, quite wide man who's walks around school like a little terrier. The readers of Grazia, though, however, saw him somewhat differently. And he made it to number 7 in Grazia's lust list. Now, I'm going to ask some questions. Now, I know I should be talking to you, but actually I'm spending this whole talk talking to Sir Michael Wilshaw. So, Sir Michael, have you been number 7 in Grazia's lust list? Didn't do that teacher much difficulty. And people queue for hours to get on X Factor, to be able to sing live on television. And Mr. Drew managed it sitting at his desk eating his Weetabix. What an amazing thing to be able to do. So I don't think that's done the profession any harm. Let's look at the next little clip.
Chadwick has evidence. What evidence can Chadwick give you that poor living conditions make you die?
Dirty water.
No. Look at the graph. Look at the graph. Look at the graph.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You look like a monkey and you smell like one too.
Happy birthday, Mr. Drew.
Just have 5 minutes of happy birthday time.
Well, still going to work.
No.
He's such a
happy
grum.
birthday time.
Happy birthday time, sir.
Thank you very much. You're very kind. Thank you.
Have you all been nice this lesson?
They've been lovely. They always are lovely. The highlight of my day is my hour with my history class. That is the highlight of my day. You have no idea how much I like teaching you. You have no idea.
Mr. Drew's amazing. He's probably one of the best teachers in this school. The way that he just teaches and it gets stuck in your head so quickly. He's just such a good teacher.
How many of us get to tell the community that we serve how much we love working for them? What an amazing, amazing opportunity that we have every day as teachers. And I'm sorry, Sir Michael, but if anybody's sitting at home thinking about being a teacher, that's not going to put them off. That's going to do the opposite of that. I did get a bit of stick about that particular part. I got a bit of stick in some local papers and on social media because supposedly I was wasting children's learning time for those 3 minutes that I was in the class because they weren't learning about history, the subject they were timetabled for. But what they were learning about was comradeship, support, community, actually finding time to celebrate the important things in our life. Because our lives are too busy. Our young people's lives, they want immediacy. Google, Siri, whatever it may be. They want that immediacy and actually stopping and going, happy birthday. And we say happy birthday every day to anybody's birthday is at Passmore's. We have a PA system and I do a birthday bing bong every day. And bing bong, happy birthday to. It has caused us a bit of a problem because if your birthday's not during term time, you're a bit annoyed. So we now have bing bong birthday cards, which we send during the holidays for children whose birthday is during the holidays. I'm sorry, Mr. Michael. I'm sorry, Sir Michael. We're teaching them some really important stuff, and that's not going to put anybody off. We'll have a little look at another little clip.
Do you hear now?
You are such a bugger. How, I was going to say, how do you do this? You've gone out the window or something.
Stop it. Don't.
And also
Don't.
the lady who was reviewing the
Oh no! Well, that bloody serves you right. Go on.
You will never, ever be able to do that.
Oh,
No,
do it.
just leave him. Let him silent until it's done.
I got in a bit of trouble for that first bit. Page 7 of The Sun. Big still of me doing that out from behind my door. I was called childish by The Sun. They were almost right. They were almost right. I'll take childlike, because childlike's great. Isn't being childlike all the woes I think I've now got that I didn't have? I love being childlike. Teaching allows us to be childlike sometimes. It allows us to get down to the level where actually we probably didn't take enough advantage of being children when we were children.
How do you do this?
My God, wouldn't you like what your knowledge is now with your 16-year-old brain? How much mischief would we get up to? And also, I'd have a mobile phone now. I didn't have one then. I'd be even worse. But really, Sir Michael, comradeship, camaraderie, that's what's going to make us put people off our profession. Seeing people just enjoying each other's company. Yeah, school's tough. For education, being in education is tough. And you have to laugh. You have to find that outlet. And I'm really, really lucky that I have that, and really lucky that I got to work with an amazing team of people that we can laugh and switch off. And he spent weeks trying to undo that Newton's cradle because he wasn't going to get beaten. And that's a little bit about Mr. Drew. We'll have a look at one more. I will see you on Monday for your English exam. Ryan, you've got your hand up.
I'd like to say something.
Okay.
Go on, Ryan.
What do you want to say?
Well, I'm not... I haven't been here for the longest period of time. Well, 2 years as a matter of fact. Maybe more. Well, I want to say that these 2 years are the best 2 years of my life. Surrounded by people who support each other and do their best. It's their very hardest. We like each other, like a big family. I mean,
Fine, you've got to go. You've got to stop. You've got to stop. All right, Ryan for Prime Minister, we know that. I should have just shut up and let him talk. I hope that you're not disappointed with what you get in the summer. If it's not so good, maybe you need to think about how much work you did to earn it. I am very proud to be your head teacher.
Good luck.
Do you know what you're doing next?
I think I'll go to Harlow College. Yeah, try to be a success. Be all I can be. Just like Mr. Goddard said. He's an inspiration to all of us.
I was going to struggle with that bit. I don't ever show that last bit of that clip. I do use a little bit of that clip from before where Ryan stands up to speak, but I very rarely do the bit after. There's lots of reasons why I don't like watching those clips. I can see myself on television, and a camera adds lots of pounds, I'm told. That's one reason. I also decided during the episodes, the series of being recorded, that a black tank top was a good idea. Overstuffed black pudding wasn't the look I was expecting. So I still have the black tank top, but it sits on the back of my door in my office to remind me to not look in gentlemen's magazines, the appropriate ones, and to think what looks good on the model will look good on me, because it doesn't. So I want to tell you a little bit about Ryan. Now, Ryan's a young man who joined us in year 9. I showed him and his mum around the school. Sadly, he came back from Spain in really sad circumstances and needed to find a school back in Harlow, having lived in Spain for a long time. And I showed him and his mum around school, and I remember talking to her, and she said, you know, what year is Ryan going to go in? I said, well, how old is he? And, 14, so we're going to year 9, and she looked at me a bit surprised. Really? I said, why are you surprised? Well, because he's in year 5 in Spain, because he's a bit different. And the challenge he has every day of Asperger's is something that he needs to manage. And I looked at him and went, he's year 9, he'll go into year 9, and he did. He went into year 9 and did absolutely brilliantly. Ryan made our school change a great deal. You could no longer use rhetorical questions in assemblies because he had his hand up. So it changed a lot of what we did. But actually, I showed his mum around school with Ryan, and his mum went into every classroom and spoke to staff and spoke to kids and spent a long time speaking to me. And at the end of that, guess what she did? She trusted me with her most precious gift. She trusted me with her child. And Ryan has his own challenges, as does every young person. But she decided by looking at us, looking at the tank top wearing, bad singing, door jumping people, liberals, as I think I was called in a few papers. The Sun doesn't like me very much. She decided that it was okay to trust us with him, to help her make him the man she wants him to be, the independent soul. So, Mr. Wilshaw, Sir Michael, really? That's going to put people off? You think young people doing A-levels or in their university degree are going to look at those clips and look at that series and go, actually, that's not for me? Who wants to be told they're an inspiration? Who wants to have the privilege of a parent trusting them with a child? But there's a few other things for Sir Michael that sort of bug me a little bit, because he got his facts wrong. When Sir Michael spoke to our school, he should have really thought a little bit more about Jim Collins, I think, and Jim Collins' book From Good to Great. I'm sure lots of you have read it and know about it. Because when things go wrong in great companies and great organisations, the leaders don't look out of the window for who to blame, they look in the mirror. And maybe Sir Michael should spend a bit more time looking in the mirror for who to blame for the teacher recruitment crisis. We spend every day trying to make children's lives better. It feels like he spends every day trying to make teachers' lives worse, which I don't think goes very well together. And of course that isn't the case. And lots of good happens from Austin, and I should be held to account. But ultimately, I think blaming us and blaming a few clips from a television show for the teacher recruitment crisis leaves a lot to be decided. It's also factually wrong. Mr. Drew and I presented the 3 National Teacher Development Agency, as it was then called, conferences in Manchester, Birmingham and London. We fronted it. That was the quote that came out in the TES. The year after, Matthew Burton from Educating Yorkshire, he was the front for the advertising campaign. So, really, we were the issue? These TV shows were the issue? So, my final thing, really, to say to Sir Michael and to Mrs. Morgan and Mr. Gibb is that when you are looking for why it's a bit gloomy at the moment, when you're looking at what the weather's like in our profession, maybe it's time to think that maybe you help make that weather. Because whether it's in a classroom or in a school or in the education system, the messages we send about our jobs, the messages we send about each other do make a difference. And yeah, I did cherry pick some particular bits from the series there. And there were some really difficult young people with some real challenges shown. That doesn't come as a surprise if you want to be a teacher. They exist all over the country. So, Sir Michael and Nikki, just have a little think. Decide to make the weather a bit sunnier for us. Then maybe I'll have a maths teacher that I can appoint for September. Cheers.